I've always believed that some things are better left alone, the old man began, his voice low and gravelly. The group of young travelers leaned in closer, their faces lit by the flickering campfire. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood, and the cold mountain breeze whispered through the trees surrounding them. They had come to Pampanga for a weekend getaway, drawn by the town's cool climate and picturesque views. But the night had taken an unexpected turn when their tour guide, Mangband, had joined them by the fire. The old man, with his weathered face and knowing eyes, had lived in the town his entire life, and he had stories that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. This isn't just some urban legend, Mangband continued, looking each of them in the eye. It's something that really happened. I know because I was there. I saw the aftermath, the fear it brought to this town. And I'm telling you now, it's not something you want to mess with. One of the younger men in the group, Alex, smirked. Come on, Mangband, you're not gonna scare us with some ghost stories, are you? We've heard them all. This isn't about scaring you, Mangband said, his tone turning serious. It's about warning you there are things out there that we don't understand, and some of them are dangerous. The group fell silent, the crackling of the fire the only sound for a moment. Then, with a deep breath, Mangband began his tale. This all started a few years ago, Mangband said, leaning back in his chair. There was this girl, Katrina, who lived in town. She was just a regular college student, nothing special. She liked to take long walks, especially in the evenings, to clear her head after a day of classes. One evening, she was walking along one of those trails up in the mountains when she found something. He paused, letting the tension build. The firelight cast eerie shadows on his face, making him look almost ghostly. It was a ring, a simple gold band with a small red gemstone. It wasn't flashy, just something you might wear every day, but something about it caught her eye. She picked it up, and the moment she did, she felt strange, like something heavy had settled in her chest. Mangband shook his head, as if trying to shake off the memory. Katrina didn't think much of it at first. She slipped the ring into her pocket and went home. But that night, things started happening. She had this awful dream. She was in a dark room, and there was this figure standing just out of reach. It didn't say anything, but she could feel it watching her, waiting. When she woke up, she was drenched in sweat, and the ring was on her finger. How did it get there? One of the girls, Clara, asked, her voice barely above a whisper. That's the thing, Mangband replied. She didn't put it on. But there it was, like it had a mind of its own. She tried to take it off, but it wouldn't budge. It was stuck, like it had fused with her skin. The group exchanged uneasy glances, the mood around the campfire shifting from lighthearted to tense. Over the next few days, Katrina started noticing weird things happening around her. Mangband continued. Her phone would ring in the middle of the night, but there was no one on the other end. She'd hear footsteps following her, but when she turned around, there was no one there. And then there was the feeling like she was never alone, even when she knew she was. Then people started dying, Mangband said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. It started with her neighbor, Mrs. Reyes. She was found dead in her kitchen, burned alive, but there was no sign of a fire. just her, charred black, and everything else untouched. The group gasped, the horror of the image sinking in. A few days later, another person died. This time it was Katrina's professor, who had been helping her with a research project. He was found crushed beneath a tree that had fallen in the middle of a perfectly calm night. No wind, no storm, nothing to explain it. And it wasn't just any tree. It was one that had been standing in the university grounds for over 100 years, solid as a rock. But that night, it came down on him like it was pushed. Katrina was terrified by this point. Mang Ben continued, his voice heavy with the weight of the tale. She knew it had something to do with the ring. She tried everything to get rid of it, cutting it off, smashing it with a hammer, even throwing it into a river. But no matter what she did, the ring always came back. She'd wake up in the morning, and there it was, still on her finger. What did she do? Asked Jake, one of the more skeptical members of the group. She went to the only person who might have answers, Mang Ben replied. An old healer who lived in the mountains. Someone who was said to know about things that most people wouldn't even believe. The healer told her that the ring was cursed, bound to her in a way that couldn't be undone. It was looking for something, the healer said, and it wouldn't stop until it found it. Mang Ben took a deep breath before continuing. The healer told Katrina that the ring had a history. It wasn't always cursed. It was just a ring, a family heirloom that had been passed down for generations. But something tragic happened. A young woman in the family was murdered, and the ring was stolen. It was said that her spirit, angry and vengeful, latched onto the ring, cursing it and anyone who wore it. From then on, the ring brought death to anyone who tried to claim it as their own. The healer told Katrina that she was the latest in a long line of victims, and that the curse would only end when the ring found what it was looking for. But the healer didn't know what that was. She just told Katrina to be careful and to pray that she wasn't the one the ring would take its final vengeance on. The group was silent, captivated by the story. The fire crackled softly, casting dancing shadows on their faces. Katrina didn't know what to do. Mang Ben continued, his voice softening. She tried to go on with her life, but the death didn't stop. People close to her best friend, her aunt, even her pet dog, Cassandra, started dying in strange, inexplicable ways. All the while, the ring remained on her finger, a constant reminder of the curse. Mang Ben's face grew somber as he spoke. Then, one day, Katrina just disappeared. No one knows what happened to her. Some say she finally found a way to break the curse and went into hiding. Others believe the ring took her, claimed her life just like it had claimed the others. But the truth is, she was never seen again. And the ring? Clara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. That's the thing, Mang Ben said, his eyes narrowing. The ring was never found. Some say it's still out there, waiting for its next victim. It could be anywhere, waiting for someone to pick it up, put it on, and start the cycle all over again. And if you ever come across a ring lying on the ground, especially here in Pampanga, you'd better think twice before you pick it up. The group sat in stunned silence, the weight of Mang Ben's words settling over them like a thick fog. The once warm and cozy atmosphere of the campfire had turned cold, and the darkness around them seemed to press in closer. Is it true? Alex finally asked, breaking the silence. Did all that really happen? Mang Ben shrugged, a faint, knowing smile playing on his lips. Believe what you want, but, like I said, some things are better left alone. With that, he stood up and walked away from the fire, leaving the group to ponder the chilling tale he had just told. The night was still and quiet, the only sound the distant rustling of leaves in the wind. As the travelers sat there, lost in thought, none of them noticed a small, blending object lying just outside the circle of firelight, a simple gold ring with a blood-red gemstone, waiting for someone to pick it up. Thank you for tuning in. Please leave a like and subscribe. I will see you again next week.